Welcome back to another episode of Let's Finally Grow. I'm your host, Ariana Simone Cantor. Government name. Now you know a little bit more about me. The more you know, the more you have the capacity to know. Where the fuck am I going with the more you have the capacity to know? I'm going with today's topic. I'm trying to make my way into it, bring it center of stage, bring it on the table, bring it up for discussion. Because today I would like to talk about how capacity is so much more important than chemistry. What the fuck do I mean? This is what I mean. Capacity is another person's capacity, someone else's capacity of what they can handle in their life, within their emotions, within their ego, within their self-esteem, within their career, within their relationships, within their routine. It really is across the motherfucking board of where someone is at and where they can meet you. Now, chemistry is that feeling that we get from time to time that gets us in fucking trouble if someone's capacity can't handle us or can't meet us where we are at. That's a better way. Can't meet us where we are at. Now, what we're about to get into today, this shit is tough. This is no light work, light knowledge, something that you hear once and you totally understand, because this is a topic I've wanted to speak on for so long. And guess what? I made an episode about it before. I didn't post it. And it was still something that I was dealing with in my life of having chemistry with another person and not accepting or recognizing where their capacity is at. Letting chemistry drive the fucking show and wasting my time learning lessons, You got to do what you got to do. So obviously, I'm saying it here first that I'm really putting in the work to try to understand this myself and have less complications, not burn out. When we feel chemistry with another person, that's not every day. That is not every motherfucking day. And it's an exciting feeling. It's a feeling that brings up desire inside of us. It's something that we want more of. A lot of times when we feel that chemistry, we want a specific outcome. And we allow that chemistry to override what our intuition is telling us, what is clear as day, what is written on the fucking wall. Pretty much, we override all the other shit that's relevant to get to that outcome. Like, if you have chemistry with someone, does that mean they're allowed to get away with murder? Does that mean that they don't have to respect you? Does that mean that they don't have to try? Like, no. You still want those things in life. So when it comes to dating, this is tricky, but I also find that this gives a little bit of peace of mind. When you feel chemistry with another person, I would say it's very likely that that person feels chemistry with you too. And when things don't work out, we tend to take it personally, and we let it hit our ego. We think that we had chemistry, we had feelings for someone that didn't feel the same way about us. We can feel stupid from it. We can just get in our head and put ourselves down. But what if the chemistry exists, it's real, but the other person just doesn't have the capacity to meet you where you're at? And you're not going to lower your capacity to meet someone where they're at. And guess what? Especially ladies, listen the fuck up. We like to try to lower our capacity when there's chemistry. We like to lower it a little bit. And we like to think we can meet them where they're at. We can help them. We can teach them. There's so much chemistry there. They'll get it the fuck together. No. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the universe does not reward you lowering your standards, your capacity, yourself to meet someone where they're at. You're not going to get rewarded for that. You're going to have complications in life. You're going to wonder why things keep going wrong, why you keep attracting the same lessons. It's because you're lowering yourself. And that's not what the universe wants for us. So obviously, I believe in the magic of the universe. I look into science. I look into spirituality. Like I like to know and try to figure out, because I'll never really know. So try to figure out, learn more why the world goes round, why we have the feelings inside of us that we can't comprehend, or we try to on this podcast. But there's still a lot that we can't comprehend. A lot of times, I really do believe, from my experience, I'm speaking from my personal experience, that the universe will send us a lesson in beautiful chemistry. That lesson will be dressed up as a sexy, tall piece of chemistry, and it's handed over to you. And now you need to figure out what to do with it. And because the chemistry is there, you can't get away from it, you know? This shit's on your mind. You have to learn the lesson. That's the tricky part about it. Like, the universe isn't going to send you the things you need to learn in boring, irrelevant ways that aren't going to light something up in you. And usually the more intense the chemistry is, the more likely it is a lesson, which I confuse all the time. I'm like, well, this chemistry is so intense. It's like, learn that shit, Ariana. The intensity is not your sign to keep trying. The safety and security is the sign to keep trying. And that's where capacity comes in. When we are learning our lessons and we are dodging the chemistry that can't meet us where the fuck we're at in life, we will start to meet people that have the capacity that we have. We will start to attract that into our lives once we stop lowering ourselves. And maybe that's the test, honestly, that I've been, now that I'm talking, I'm like lowering, because, you know, you're always trying to figure out, what the fuck is this trying to teach me? And if I'm lowering myself to meet someone for chemistry, how can the right people meet me where I'm at? Because I'm like, in disguise, I'm lowered. You can't find me. Well, guess what? Not anymore. Meet me where the fuck I'm at. I'm showing it now. I am not lowering. I'm not in hiding. I'm not disguising. I am open to be met where I'm at. In these dating dynamics, and these can happen in friendships too, you know, definitely totally could happen in friendships, but they're usually more intense in romantic relationships because it is that one-on-one behavior. Like, you know, this chemistry is attracting us together, and you see the potential of a connection being there. Like, you see it, it's clear as day, you feel it, you keep winding up getting hurt. And I know I've had to learn this the hard way. There's no one that told me, like, don't chase chemistry, add capacity into the equation. After so many lessons, I'm fucking figuring it out because I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This part is a big issue too. This is a serious complication as well. A very, very serious complication, what I'm about to say. The person in a dynamic where there's chemistry and there's not matched capacity, the person who has more capacity winds up holding more space, tolerating a bit more because they're able to, because they have more capacity. And they wind up being the ones more fucked over. The person on the other end may feel unworthy, not good enough, like triggered in a way of putting work in themselves, but not really wanting to because that requires a lot of effort. So you put effort and work into yourself and you're just damaging all of that fucking work to lower it, to hold space for someone you have chemistry with. And that's why at the beginning of this episode, I started off saying this is some tough ass shit because as I'm saying it, words don't do these feelings fucking justice. When there is chemistry involved, it is fucking, we're at war. We're at fucking war. Finding someone who can match your capacity is so much more difficult than finding chemistry. I think we hold on to chemistry so dearly and deeply because we think we won't find it again or we like the way it makes us feel. But capacity is where the fuck it's at. Like, I've dealt with enough chemistry that just leaves me like frustrated with myself mainly, where I only want capacity at this point. Like I want to feel so safe and so secure in my dynamics with other people in my life. I don't want the intensity. And honestly, thank fucking God, I have finally arrived to this point in my life. And let's hope I can maintain it. Let's hope I can anchor this feeling. Chemistry is like a high. That's what I would compare it to. And I think we could all relate on that. Like when you find someone and you have instant chemistry and you see the potential and you desire more, that is like a high. And with all highs, like it's going to be followed by a fucking low. It's not sustainable. And capacity is where things really start to get interesting because that's when you're able to like see what people can hold, what you can hold, how you can progress. It's a safe place to see what you like, what you don't like about a person. Like I love that feeling. I love a safe place to figure out if I even like someone. I feel like the intensity of chemistry a lot of the time blinds you from figuring out if you even like a person. Like the intensity from it, just like you don't even feel safe enough. And now there's going to be people in life that have the capacity to meet you where you're at, and you might not have that chemistry with them. And there might not even look like there's a road to grow into that chemistry. And that's fine. Like, you know, that's life. But I want to be at least at the frequency where I am only attracting the capacity. And then we can figure out the rest later. I don't want to be stuck in like the rut of finding chemistry and losing sight of like the things I really want to look for in a person and the life I want for myself. And if anyone's coming into my life, the life that, you know, is compatible with mine. All of the fucking red flags that we ignore because of chemistry should be illegal. Jail time. Jail time for ignoring red flags solely based off of chemistry. And when it comes to friendships and there's chemistry, but you have different capacity, I feel like it can be a little bit easier to recognize that and recognize where you place that friendship in your life. Like we have different capacity, you know, that's not going to be the person I tell this to. That's not going to be the person I lean on for this, but that might be the person I go and get a drink with, whatever. And like, I can hold space for them to one day maybe meet me where I'm at. Like, I don't know. At this point of my life, I want everyone in my life to fucking have the capacity to meet me where I'm at. I don't want to be blindsided by chemistry anymore. It's a lesson that I know I've had to learn, and I'm pretty sure we all fucking do. If there was anyone in this world that was not blindsided by chemistry before, how do you know? Like, how do you know the lesson? How are you born with it? Like, maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's Maybelline. And this episode is sponsored by Maybelline. I wish one day I have the capacity for it. Let them know. We don't just have chemistry over here. We have capacity to hold you. By the time this episode comes out, Mercury is going to be out of retrograde. But while I'm recording it, Mercury is in retrograde. And let me tell you, this shit is testing my capacity right now. It's growing my capacity. And that is what tough times do too. Like, tough times in life is what grows your capacity. If you're wondering, how do I advance my capacity? Like, how do I grow that shit higher? You do go in those situations where you wind up getting triggered and you learn the fucking lesson. You don't turn away from situations and think, I can't handle this. Like, you quite literally tell life what you can handle, and you show life what you can handle by what you're handling in your life. All of the inner work that we do, that shit's building our capacity. If there is someone who maybe wants to be in a relationship but hasn't really taken accountability for their life or their reasons why they don't feel ready to be in one, or whatever it is, they're not doing some inner work, their capacity is going to be lower. And that has nothing to do with you. What has to do with you is the place you allow them to be in your life, the negotiation you do with yourself to have them in your life. Not everyone is on the same timeline. Not everyone wants the same things. Not everyone is going to be able to meet you where you're at. And simply understanding that grows your capacity. Now, understanding it and putting it into effect are two different things. I don't want anyone in this fucking episode to think at all that I don't understand, because baby, I understand. This shit is not for the weak. Like, I think when I was naive and I was younger, you could maybe catch me saying like, oh my God, why is that person giving that person the time of day when it's clearly not working? You'll never hear me say that again. Because the people that say that, what do you mean? I think everyone in this world understands that we can be fooled in life, that we have our own lessons to learn. Like, why does someone keep going back? They haven't learned yet. And you judging it isn't going to make them learn sooner. You shaming someone isn't going to help them learn sooner. People have to learn on their own. I sit here with a fucking microphone, being vulnerable as fuck about my life, talking about the shit I learn. And I say it, and it still doesn't mean that I won't have a lesson in it again. Actually, I think the universe fucks with me sometimes to be like, if you're going to talk about it, you need to be about it times 10, Ariana. So I'm getting even more lessons. I'm getting a fuck ton. Put your money where your mouth is. So there's no shame in my game. That's also something I really, really work on, is removing shame from my life in general, which is a whole other podcast conversation, because that shit we're talking about in this episode, really, 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 really difficult things and lessons. Maybe in another episode, we'll talk about the beauty of not giving ourselves shame, because it's a more beautiful life. So this is your sign to pause and see someone's capacity to meet you where you're at and not base things only off of chemistry. The intensity is usually a motherfucking lesson. And I'm always grateful for a lesson, but I don't want it to repeat itself. I don't want repetitive behavior. So we're in this together with taking my advice. Or I don't even know what my vulnerable words, my wisdom, my knowledge, what I've learned, what came to my mind today, what I wanted to share with you. Like all good things in this world, this episode is coming to an end. And I love you. Thank you for listening. Reach out to me. Let me know what intense chemistry keeps appearing in your life over and over again. And how fucking difficult it is. And maybe, just start to understand that there's nothing wrong with you for something not working out. Not everyone is going to have the capacity to meet you where you're at in life. And that is okay. Because there's so many fucking people in this world. Keep going. I love you. Let's finally grow.